And we back for video number 5 of this 9-part series of how to create your very own workouts. In order to output the proper quality of training, the order in which you do exercises actually matters. Hi, I'm Kelsey Nanini, certified strength and conditioning specialist and certified nutritionist. I'm here to help you go from frequent gym goer to strong, confident, and educated athlete. For that reason, today I am obviously covering the reason why the order of your exercises is so important. But first, this video will make a whole lot more sense if you've watched the 4 previous videos. So if you haven't yet watched them, this is, like I said, a 9-part series, and it is designed to be watched in order, kind of like your favorite Netflix show. So if you haven't yet watched videos 1 through 4, make sure to go do this before watching the rest of this video. Now, the reason exercise order matters so much is because when we are looking at each individual exercise, the energy it takes to put forth the effort demands varies from exercise to exercise. For instance, if we take a look at a conventional deadlift and a cable glute kickback, which one of these do you feel like would take a bit more energy to complete? If you guessed conventional deadlift, you would be correct. The conventional deadlift is a compound movement. So it is a multi-joint movement that's working larger musculature all at once. Whereas the cable glute kickback is more of an accessory movement that is isolating the glutes. Because you are only doing one single joint here, it's going to require a little bit less energy and a little bit less effort to complete in comparison to the conventional deadlift. With that being said, you want to do compound lifts first. These are lifts, as I said, that are working multiple joints at once and working a larger muscle group. You could think of things like a deadlift, back squats, pull-ups even, bench, things of that nature as compound lifts. However, there is a little bit of a stipulation to this, if you will. If you are programming in power exercises such as a snatch, power clean, push jerk, things of that nature, you're gonna actually want to complete those first. That is because the energy demands of those exercises do outweigh the energy demands of something like a deadlift or a back squat. So after you've done your power exercises and your compounds, you're gonna wanna move on to your accessory work next. This would be things like split squats, step ups, kickbacks, if we're specifically talking about lower body, which is the example we've been using throughout this series. So when you are building the order of which you do exercises, think about what is going to be essentially hardest and the most energy demands on your body first into the more low-key, smaller muscle groups last. Now, that doesn't mean that the end of your workouts have to be easy. It just means that you want to elicit the most of your energy on the exercises that require more out of you first. This would mean that you're also going to want to do your bilateral work, so things like your compounds where you're working both sides at the same time first, and then move into your unilateral work, which would be working one leg at a time. Now, if you are doing more of a full body split, this would be beneficial for like 2 to 3 days per week. A way to do this so that you can promote the most amount of recovery from exercise to exercise would be to alternate lower body exercise, upper body exercise, lower, upper, and so on and so forth. Or the opposite, upper, lower, upper, lower. The main point being is that while you're doing a lower body movement, your upper body can recover and vice versa. And if you're doing something like an upper-lower split, which would be useful in 3 to 4 days per week, this could look like doing a lat pull down into a bench chest press, back into a tricep push down, and then into a bicep curl for an example. I have this example of 6 exercises and I want to create the exercise order here with you as an example. So we have 3 bilateral exercises and 3 unilateral exercises. When we're looking at this list, we want to determine which one poses the greatest demand on our body. That would be a core exercise that is going to place some load on our spine, even if it is indirectly, which would be the conventional deadlift. So we're gonna move the conventional deadlift up to number 1. Then we're going to think about which of these exercises places the next greatest demand on our body. That would be the leg press. That is still going to be a multi-joint exercise. Yes, it does place some load on our spine, but not as great of a load as the conventional deadlift would. So we'd move that leg press to be number 2. And then looking at this, we have those 3 unilateral exercises just kind of chilling there. So what I would do in my own personal preference of programming is I would actually superset the single leg glute bridge and the walking lunge. The walking lunge is technically a unilateral exercise because you are going to be working one leg actively each rep, even if it is alternating. So I would start with the single leg glute bridge, I would do both sides, and then I would go into the walking lunge. Next, I would do the glute cable kickbacks. That is going to be working a larger muscle, the glutes, than the calf raises. So calf raises I would say for last because it is the smallest muscle group. It is going to place the least amount of demand on the body. All in all, we have deadlifts, then we have leg press, single leg glute bridge, walking lunge, cable glute kickbacks, and then calf raises. To wrap it up, we want to remember that the order is going to start with your power exercises, then move on to your core exercises, both of which are considered our compound lifts. Then we would move into accessory work where we're working smaller muscle groups. It's a little bit lower intensity, a little bit less demand on the body. Next up, we're going to chat about load and reps, so you can click up here to see what that's all about.